What if I told you getting food for you and your family could actually be thrilling? Well, according to MLive, 373,300 white-tailed deer in Michigan were harvested in 2024, and that is an increase of 8% since 2023. Today I will explain to you what you will need to hunt, how to set up for hunting, and also what to do once you have harvested your white-tailed deer. So first of all, I'm going to discuss what you need to hunt. So we're going to discuss clothing first. You need to make sure you're always wearing bright orange so other hunters can see where you are, and it lets them know you're also hunting. You also will need extra layers of clothing because you're hunting during the winter season, so you want to make sure you're dressing appropriately. So you want extra layers, extra pants, extra socks, hoodies, jackets, all that. You're also gonna want even like hand warmers and toe warmers are also really nice to help keep you nice and warm. Then you're gonna need your equipment. So whether that is your crossbow, your compound bow, whether you're hunting with a rifle, any type of gun or bow, you're gonna want your equipment, and you're also gonna want all your proper safety supplies for that. So like all your cleaning supplies, and then you obviously want like your arrows, or your bullets, whatever you're using. Then also you're going to want to keep on hand like a first aid kit and probably some extra clothes or just something that for just in case if things happen. And even like water and snacks is really helpful too for if you get thirsty or hungry while you're hunting, or again if in case there's an emergency. And also, something else you will need, according to the Department of Natural Resources, to purchase a hunting license in Michigan, an individual born on or after January 1st of 1960 is required to successfully complete an approved hunter educational course. So this is like your hunter safety license. This is required because it want to make sure that you know what you're doing to hunt and you're doing it properly and safely. With that allows you to get your license, which you have to get your base license to even be able to hunt. And then from there you can get either antlerless deer, you can get a combo, whatever you prefer. Now that you know what you need to hunt, we're next going to look at how to set up for hunting. So you're going to want to look for a good spot that is not near others. You want to make sure you don't see any orange in sight. And actually, according to the USDA, discharging a firearm is prohibited in or within 150 yards of a developed recreation site, a residence, or anywhere people are likely to be. So you really want to make sure no one's by, making sure there's no houses nearby, no cars, nothing that a bullet or an arrow can penetrate through. Also, when looking for a site, you want to make sure it's a nice area that you're likely to see deer. Now, you're not going to see deer, again, by a house or anything, so you really want to make sure it's like in a field, in the woods. Those are good places to hunt. Now, when you're setting up your blind, if you're in a blind, you want to make sure there's at least orange attached to it so people can see you're hunting there again, because if you're inside the blind, they can't always see that bright orange. So you want to make sure there's something bright orange attached to your blind so other hunters know if you're on like land that you're hunting there. Also, you can hunt in a tree stand, but you also want to make sure you have the proper safety equipment for your tree stand, so you're not falling out of it. And if you do perhaps fall out of it, you can safely fall. You also want to have something that can lift up your bow or your gun safely. And then there's also hunting where you don't use a blind or a tree stand. You kind of hunt either as you're walking, or you kind of sit down and find a little spot to hide like next to a tree or something. But again, you want to watch for the bright orange and make sure you're not near no one else or you're near a house or anything else. So, as you can see, there are many things you need to know about what you need to hunt and where to set up for hunting. But don't forget that finally we need to talk about what to do once you harvested your deer. So once you have got your deer, you need to watch what direction it is going. Once you see the deer has been shot, you need to see what direction it's going and try to watch as far as possible of which way it is traveling if it did not drop right in front of you. So once you're watching it, give it about like 30 to 45 minutes after you have shot to make sure that, you know, there's no other movement and do not scare anything else that may have been near when you shot. Then what you can do is you want to track your deer. So if you weren't able to see exactly where your deer landed, you want to look for blood trails, maybe like fur that was left on the ground, and you kind of just track your way along. You can even look for footprints of the deer, and you track your way along to the deer. Once you have found your deer, the first thing you want to do is tag your deer. You cannot harvest a deer and not tag it. It is illegal. So you really want to make sure that you tag your deer as soon as you do. Even before, like, I know a lot of people like to post, you know, pictures of getting their deer. You want to make sure it is tagged, because if a DNR sees that it is not tagged, they are liable to check it out and make sure it is properly tagged. So then, once you have got your deer, you got all your pictures you wanted, you want to make sure that you got it as soon as possible, making sure that you're doing the proper gut of it and making sure you get everything out properly. And then you can either process it yourself, or you can send it off to a processing company to have your deer processed. So in conclusion, hunting can help you feed your family. Today I have discussed what you need to hunt, how to set up for hunting, and what to do once you have harvested your deer. It might seem like a lot at first, but once you know what you're doing to hunt, it makes it a lot easier. This will allow for you to put food on the table for you and your family, and maybe for families who need it as well.